fixed operating expenses, and also fixed financing. When we say the financing, you know, the cost is basically interest cost. So those are the things that we included in the cash fixed cost. Then when the EBITDA is zero, that means survival revenue is equal to the variable cost plus cash fixed cost. So when the EBITDA is zero level, you can see that relationship, that just survival revenue is equal to variable cost and plus CF, cash fixed cost. Now just equation to calculate the survival revenue, you can see that in the last line, survival revenue is equal cash fixed cost divided by 1 minus variable cost revenue ratio. So if you look at the early of the slides, you can see how to derive this. As a starting point, you can see normally variable cost to revenue ratio, you can calculate variable cost divided by revenue. That is, we term variable cost revenue ratio. So at the when the survival revenue, as explained in the previous slide, survival revenue variable cost plus cash fixed cost is equal to the survival revenue. So from that equation you can derive cash fixed cost is equal then survival revenue minus variable cost. So then by substituting the survival revenue for this here instead of the R, you will get the equation like this. Cash fixed cost is equal survival revenue into 1 minus variable cost revenue ratio, right? From this to here, for instead of the R, we substitute survival revenue, just that term. So then you will get the equation like this. From this equation, you can derive this one. So then survival revenue is equal cash fixed cost divided by 1 minus variable cost revenue ratio. So then this is the survival at the survival break-even point. So the survival revenue you can calculate just dividing cash fixed cost and using the 1 minus variable cost revenue ratio. So here, in addition to things, Sama, can you add something to this explanation?
Actually, 1 minus variable cost revenue ratio is called contribution profit margin.
Yes.
And always variable cost revenue ratio will be a fraction which is less than 1.
Yes. Yes.
Basic, as long as the contribution margin is positive, higher the sales, then company or the venture can reach to survival break-even.
Example is given, just apply this equation and you can get some idea about the survival revenue and the break-even level of survival revenue. Here, if you can see this, you are given some information related to the Sunray Corporation. Income statement results are given. Net sales is there. Cost of so the gross profit is calculated. It is given general and administrative expenses, marketing expenses, depreciation 15,000. Earning before interest and tax 20,000, financing cost or expenses 30,000, EBT earning before tax minus 10,000, no income tax, so the net earnings that is negative 10,000. So here cost of goods sold expected to vary at constant percentage with sales. So some other information are provided. Cost of goods sold expected to vary at constant percentage with sales and be a constant percentage of sales. So that is you can use when calculating. General and administration employees have been hired and expected to remain fixed. So there is no variation, that is fixed. Marketing expenses expected to remain constant. As current sales staff expected to remain on fixed salary and no new hires are planned. Effective tax rate is for a profitable firm is 30%. So now using this income statement information and this additional explanation, you just calculate survival break-even point. Using that equation, you can calculate. You calculate the survival break-even amount in terms of survival revenue. that is actually necessary for this unrake operation to break even in the next year. And also, if the selling price of this particular product is rupees 250 per unit, just calculate this break even point in terms of the units. If you know the selling price, you can get that break even point in terms of the unit. So using this information, just work on this survival break even point in rupees and also in terms of unit. Here, what you have to do, you have to calculate variable cost revenue ratio. Then you can identify cash fixed cost like general administration cost, marketing expenses. Then what are the other cash? So 100,000 is a fixed cost, and the marketing expenses also fixed cost. Another thing is the financing expenses. You can see in the income statement 30,000. So then total of the cash fixed cost is you can get, and also variable cost to revenue ratio you can calculate. So what is the answer? Can you put into the chat box? You can check your answer. This is very simple. So here variable cost revenue ratio is 0.6. So cash fixed cost is 195,000. That is total of 100,000 administration cost, marketing and financing cost. So then survival revenue you can get as the 195,000 divided by 1 minus 0.6. So that is 487,500 is the survival revenue. So can you interpret that what is the meaning of this survival revenue? Amma, can you explain this? What is the meaning of this 487,500?
That means in order to cover all the fixed expenses in operating and financing, firm should generate 487,500 rupees from their sales.
Yes, that is the meaning. So that is, I think it says in the first slide, survivor is determine the level of sales necessary to cover the cost. So here you can see that is 487,500, and also you can check this whether it is a survival break-even point or not. Just you can, if you look at this here, you can see that survival revenue that what have be calculated 487,500. So if you deduct all the fixed cost, cash fixed cost from here, you can see EBITDA is 0. That is survival break-even point. This is cost of goods sold, this is administration, marketing, financing. So ultimately it reached to the 0. So then this is the survival break-even point. This is the sales revenue required to cover this cash fixed cost, that is administration, operating expenses, as well as the financing cost. So here in the second question, it's asked that if the selling price is rupees 250 per unit, so then what is the number of units that will have to be sold next year in order to be break even? So just you can calculate that 487,500 divided by 250, number of units is 1950. So like this way, this survival break even point you can calculate at early stages in the life cycle, especially at survival at startup, in order to get some understanding the safe or the safe margin, that is the revenue required to cover at least the basic operating and financing cost of the venture. So this is very important information to the entrepreneur at their early stages in the life cycle. So you can calculate that one also. Now the next part is actually the using the ratios. In addition to that, we can measure the performance at the early stages. Once the venture has survived the initial shock of the startup phase, attention must shift to measuring and monitoring the venture health. In that diagram that I think you saw in the second slides in this slide set. So it says that they are in the early growth stage, just surviving is not enough. They have to measure their internal health, internal financial health, whether there is ability to generate cash flow. So likewise, that kind of a performance measurements is required. So therefore, in addition to this preparing, calculating this survival break-even point and this internal operating schedules like inventory schedule, cost of goods sold, revenue schedules like this, we have to use financial ratios, because these financial ratios are standard. That is, we can provide these ratios or these calculations to the external parties, especially in the first round financing. They we can use to provide some information to the financiers. When we need the additional funds in the first round financing, we have to show our performance, our financial performance of the venture. So therefore, we have to calculate certain ratios in order to show the health or the financial health of the venture or the going concern or the feasibility of this particular venture. So therefore, that ratio calculation also very important. That is used by lenders to decide whether to extend a loan or whether to invest or not. So to decide that, they have to look at these ratios and this kind of information. Now, if you look at this table, you can see the different financial ratios that we can use at each stages in the life cycle. Now, say for the example, if you look at the development and startup stages, basically we are financing through the seed financing and startup financing. So the important ratios basically cash burn, cash bill rate, or the net cash burn, net cash bill, we can calculate using this. Liquidity conversion period ratios to measure the liquidity. So we can use that ratios basically. So basically, users are the entrepreneurs, initial equity providers, maybe can sometimes be their business angels like venture capitalists. At the survival stage, so first round financing we use. So then we can calculate, in addition to this cash burn and conversion ratios, in the liquidity ratios, leverage ratio, profitability, efficiency ratio, we have to calculate, because now external financing or the debt financing we are using. So therefore, leverage we have to assess to see the financial distress or the financial viability of the on venture. So the leverage ratios we have to calculate. And when it's come to the rapid growth stage, you can see leverage ratio, profitability ratios, efficiency ratios we can use in order to provide information to the external fund providers. So likewise, actually those ratios are not new thing for you. In the second year and also in the third year in the corporate finance, in financial management, you have learned these ratios more than 3-2 times. So therefore, not need to explain this ratio. Development stage, you can't calculate leverage ratio, because at the development stage, no debt financing. Sometime at the survival stage also, there is no debt financing. So therefore, no point of calculating leverage ratio. So likewise, at the different stages, different ratios we have to apply to get some information and also provide to the other parties. That is the point. Now, just we discuss what is this cash burn and cash bill, and also net cash burn or net cash bill. As the term explained, when we say the cash burn, it is the cash a venture expends on its operating and financing and its investments activities. That is burning. Cash that expends or use on its operating, financing and investments activities. So normally, cash burn rate refers to how quickly ventures distribute cash disbursement. So this is, we can calculate as a rate. Typically, it is calculated per month. So when we say the cash burn rate, that is cash burn for fixed period, that is actually for month. So if you look at the this formula, you can calculate cash burn for a month using income statement information, income statement based operating interest and tax expenses plus. So those are the operating, financing expenses, tax also, plus increase in inventories. From the balance sheet, you can get this increase in inventories, and also you have to adjust increase or changes in the payables as well as the accrued liabilities. And also other thing related to the investment, that is capital expenditures. So this is simple equation to estimate the cash burn. Income statement based operating and interest and tax expenses plus increase in the inventories minus changes in payables and also the accrued liabilities, and also you have to adjust the capital expenditures. If there is an increase, that way you have to deduct. If there is a decrease, so likewise there is adjusting the capital expenditure. So this is the formula. This is we can calculate as a rate just by dividing from the number of days in the month. That is the cash burn rate. Normally we calculate as a rate of cash burn. Then cash bill. When we say the bill, that is refers to how quickly it bills cash balances from collection on sales. So cash bill, we can calculate formula net sales minus increases in receivables, that is cash bill. This is also we can calculate as a rate. When it's come to the rate, it is normally typically for a month. Cash bill for a month we can calculate. So the difference between this cash burn and cash bill, can it be positive or negative? So that is the net cash burn. So this is very important figure to the decision making at the early stages, so we can get some understanding the rate of cash disbursement and also the rate of cash building. So the point where the cash is over for the venture. So likewise, so many things we can analyze using this figure. So that is very important variable, important figure at early stages decision making. So net cash burn occurs when the cash burn exceeds the cash bill. I think you can understand this. When there is a net cash burn occur, mean cash bill, cash burn is higher than the cash bill. So there is a net cash burning. So likewise, you can get whether it is a net cash burn or net cash bill. Right. Amma, can you add something?
So normally at a survival stage, it is net cash burn, but there can be net cash build as well. If the cash build exceeds the burn, then it will be net cash build. But normally for a venture, expenditure exceeds the cash bill, the burn exceeds the bill. So that is why we are normally referring to net cash burn.
Yes, at the early stages, cash bill not possible to see. No, that is because of the not cash because that is the rate of the cash building is very low compared to the cash burning. So therefore, cash burn will appear at the early stages, right? That is the point. Now, I think again we understand these two concepts using this example. So you are given income statement of Minipress Export Corporation. Income statement information for 2 years are given, 2018 and 19. So very simple income statement here. Net sales, cost of goods sold, gross profit, marketing expenses, general administrative expenses for 2 years, depreciation, interest, income tax, net income. So that is very simple income statement. And also balance sheet is there for the Minipress. So you can see that is also for the 2018 and 19. Net fixed assets is there, cash, account receivable, inventories, that is total assets. Then equity side, common stock, additional paid capital, retained earnings, long-term debt, current liabilities, payables, accruals, bank loans. So likewise, very simple balance sheet. Now using this two income statement and balance sheet data, calculate cash burn for the Minipress and also cash bill for the Minipress export, then net cash burn or bill. So using that two, you can identify whether it is a burn or bill. And also, you know, this simply what is meaning of that. So there is no format or the table how to calculate cash burn or cash bill, just you have to use this formula, identify the cash burn and bill for the Minipress Export Corporation. So we will give you 10 minutes time. Ratio, how to compute is, what is quick ratio, no point of discussing this because you have learned this thing in several times in your in the past years. Amma, can you explain this ratios part for the students?
When it comes to traditional liquidity ratios, normally we calculate current ratio, quick ratio, and net working capital to total asset ratio. So current ratio is, you know how to calculate. So we divide the average current assets by average current liabilities. So it indicates whether firm can pay their short-term liabilities when they come due with their current assets. And when it comes to quick ratio, we know that inventory is the least liquid item in the current asset. So we deduct inventory when we calculate the quick ratio. So average current assets minus average inventory divided by average current liabilities will provide you the quick ratio. So normally the liquid assets of the venture is cash, marketable securities, and its receivables. So it measures the ability of liquid assets to pay the current liability. So when it comes to net working capital to total asset ratio, you know how to calculate net working capital. So it is the difference between average current assets and average current liability, net working capital. So we take the difference and divide it by average total assets.
Let's come to the leverage. Actually, this leverage ratios normally we can calculate after that particular venture get some debt financing. That means then they move into the rapid growth stage. Normally, debt financing is started at the rapid growth stage. So otherwise, you can't calculate the leverage ratio. So it indicates the use of debt, and also the possession of the possibility to go to the bankruptcy and also the financial distress by looking at the debt to total assets ratio, equity multiplier. You can use current liabilities total debt ratio, interest coverage, fixed charges coverage. So those are the things that you can calculate. And by looking at these ratios, that kind of financial institutions, maybe the banks or the leasing companies and other microfinance companies, will assess their ability to repay the loan. Just looking at the interest coverage ratio, they may get some information whether they have ability to meet the interest expenses and their leverage position. So this is a kind of a leverage ratios we can use. And also, if you go to the profitability and efficiency ratios, basically you can calculate profitability on total assets and also profitability using the what we call gross profit margin, net profit margin based on the profit. So the profitability we use to assess the overall effectiveness of the company by looking at the gross profit margin, operating profit margin, and also the net operating profit after tax margin. So we can get some understanding overall effectiveness of this particular venture. And also we can measure the profitability using the return on equity, return on assets, using the total asset. It also indicates how efficiently a venture uses its assets in producing sales. Now, say for the example, say return on assets, if it is normally it's come as a percentage. So by looking at this, we can get some under. If the return on asset is 40%, that means they are using 40% of the total assets to generate the sales. So that level of efficiency using the assets, we can get some idea by looking at the ratios. Again, I'm not going to do the how to calculation part, not necessary. You may realize this is an included part in this subject, so that in addition to, you have to read these things and you have to refresh, you have to update your knowledge related to these ratios and their calculation. This is included part, right? But I am not going to explain here. And also, next part is the Basically, you have to know about the profitability, efficiency, liquidity, and also you can use the asset turnover ratios also. It measure the efficiency of using assets to generate the ratio. You can calculate total asset turnover, fixed asset turnover. So likewise, those are also included in this ratio analysis. So we are moving to the next part, that is short-term cash planning. So now we are in early growth stage or the survival stage, startup stage. So therefore, normally we plan for the at least for the 5 months or 1 year is required at this level of stages in the life cycle. Long-term cash planning also we can do. There is a forecasting module, some other techniques that we can use to for the long-term cash planning, maybe for the 1-2 years, more than 1 years. But anyway, here we discuss short-term cash planning, because as you understand with the cash burn and cash bill rate, that cash is the lifeblood of the venture. Without proper cash management, proper cash in the operations, I think going forward is very difficult. So that is very important, cash burning rate, understanding about the cash burning rate, building rate at the early stages when they take in the decision. So by looking at the net cash burning rate, entrepreneur need to minimize unnecessary use of the cash because of the future conflicts that can arise when the cash is not having with the business. So then if there is a business is viable, but without cash you can't continue the business, because at that stage funds providers, especially from the external environment, raising funds is a bit difficult. So therefore cash management is very important at the early stages of the venture. Although projecting monthly revenues and cash flow is common for all ventures, it is especially critical for startups and for ventures enduring their survival stage, because no history, future is very uncertain, assessing risk is very difficult, efficiency, information efficiency is not perfect. So therefore, actually planning is very difficult. But when it's come to the established company, 5-10 years history is there. By looking at that figures, you can get average, you can forecast using the simulations, economic risk models. But when it's come to the venture, early startup company, that part is very difficult, because they are just started companies. Their cash behavior we can't forecast. That forecasting error is very high, and also risk factor we cannot identify very easily. So therefore, that projecting cash flow and also the projecting preparing the short-term cash planning even that is very difficult. Most initial business plan contain monthly projected financial statement for at least 1 year, and sometimes for 12. Normally in the business plan, when you prepare a business plan, actually we didn't discuss that part, but you have learned in your A levels even in the business plan, financial plan is there. So under this financial plan, you have to forecast financial statement at least for the 1-2 years. So, however, that business plan financial forecasted data may not be accurate when it's come to the real happenings, even that in the business plan. But here now we are going to do the short-term cash planning. Now we are in somewhere in the life cycle. So therefore, that business plan information sometimes may not helpful to do some kind of planning at this level, because that is at their very early stages. But when it's come to this level, that business plan may be out of track. Consequently, for early stage ventures in their development stage, startup stage, survival stage, or just enter into their rapid growth stage, short-term planning is critical to surviving financially. So that is important but very difficult. That is the point. So in the short-term cash planning tool, cash budget, you can prepare a cash budget, and also cash balance on the pro forma balance sheet. You can prepare the statement of cash flow, and also the conversion period ratios like inventory to sales conversion, sales to cash conversion, like different ratios you can prepare. But here actually we discuss cash budget and preparing forecasted balance sheet and income statement and also the cash flow statement. So normally when we say the cash budget is a financial tool, shows ventures projected cash receipts and disbursement over forecasted period. You know, when we say a budget, it is a kind of cash receipts and cash expenses or the disbursements over forecasted period, maybe 5-6 months maximum. Short-term cash planning normally goes to maximum 1 year. So therefore, maybe 5 years, 6 years, or 1 year, maybe period. It is calculated using the cash basis. Cash budget we prepare on the cash basis. Expenses and revenues of the firm has over period of time to find out how cash is being billed and earned. So normally cash budget is prepared on cash basis, not on the accrual or the not on the accrual basis. So I think that part again we are going to discuss preparing this cash budget using an example. Here we are providing cash budget as well as the monthly financial statement, that is income statement, balance sheet, projected income statement, projected balance sheet, and projected cash flow statement. So you know how to prepare income statement, balance sheet and thing. Only thing we are going to project this on this context. So this is these two things we discuss using this small case, right? So this cash budget, projected monthly financial statement, now we are going to discuss with this particular case that we provided you. So now we are moving to that one. I will share the case here. On this, based on the information on this case, now we are going to prepare a cash budget as well as monthly projected monthly financial statements. So I think this one have all of with you. So anyway, you can see the screen also. Here, Amma, can you read the case with the students?
Okay. Huh? Nilu and Upuli, upon completing their degree, decided to start their own venture. They are able to acquire distribution rights for a new type of solar light, Solex Eco bulb, which reduce electricity bill significantly. Solex Eco bulb has an expected useful life of 10 years, and they have formed Nilupul Company to own the distribution right. Nilupul Company's inventories Solex Eco bulb that is planned to sell shortly after having received the stocks. It is currently May 31, 2019, and sales have been projected as follows. For June, 250,000 rupees, July 395,000 rupees, for August 300,000 rupees, September 250,000 rupees, and October 125,000 rupees. The Nilupul Company is buying a used delivery motor bicycle on June 1st, 2019 for 30,000 rupees cash. Company expects to pay miscellaneous cash expenses equal to 1% of current sales, and rent is 5,600 rupees per month. And it records insurance expenses of 640 rupees per month, although it has paid insurance company per year at a time. It plans to draw the prepaid insurance balance down to zero before paying the next to insurance company. Depreciation expenses is 5,000 rupees per month, including motor bicycle, and Nilupul Company expects a zero tax rate. Wages are paid twice a month with 8,500 rupees per month fixed, and 8% of sales as a commission. And wages are paid a half month after they are earned. Company's inventory policy is to begin a month with sufficient inventory to cover 80% of the sales for the month plus 25,000 rupees of cushion. and previous inventory balances have confirmed to the current policy and the sales forecasts have been accurate. The cost of goods sold amount to 65% of sales. Purchases are made on account with net of 15 days credit terms such that 50% of purchase made in the specific month is paid in that month. Nilupul Company's sales are 60% cash and 40% on account receivables collected in the following month. Company's only available credit limit is from a founder who agreed to lend the company money at 2% per month for next 2 years. The agreement with this founder requires 10,000 rupees minimum cash balance in the venture's checking account. The company borrows from and repays the founder only at the end of the month. Interest is therefore the previous month ending balance multiplied by 2%. And you have given the initial balance sheet of the venture.
Yes, you can see the balance sheet. Very simple balance sheet is given. That is the initial balance sheet. So I am not going to read the balance sheet. You can see it. So you are required to prepare the cash budget for the next 4 months. And also projected monthly financial statements. So when we say the projected monthly financial statements, it includes projected income statement or pro forma income statement, balance sheet, and also projected cash flow statement, basically. So those are the things that you have to do. So first, I think it's better to internalize the case and get some try out to do that. So actually, we are not in a traditional lecture hall, so no way to use. So then first you try to do by opening Excel. If you are working in a laptop or something, so you can start Excel sheet and do this calculation on Excel. So quickly you can do. So we will give around 10 15 minutes, no?